my topic is going to be mental health or mental diversity. And I guess my personal connection with it is, I've always considered myself healthy, mental, physical health. And then in my early 20s, I had a psychotic break, which I didn't think would happen. Didn't really know much about it, but through the process, I learned a lot about it, which is really awesome, and realized that it's something that a lot of people can, like, there's a whole scale, like physical health, there's a whole scale of how we deal with stress, and that it affects students a lot. So about 20% of students are affected from any kind of mental health, and that could be depression, anxiety, ADHD, and it can be a whole scale of that. But I would argue that even the other 80% that aren't labeled in any of those categories also have just general everyday stress that students need to learn how to manage, just that anybody needs to learn how to manage for personal, for a life skill. So I had fun with this presentation. I started off with, there would be an activity where everybody in the room would just kind of look at their personal beliefs about mental health, what they think it is, just to kind of challenge personal beliefs. Some people might have what I want to call, I guess, ancient beliefs about mental health and what that means versus what clinicians and practitioners look at today. In general, though, also, and how this fits into the multicultural context, is a lot of times students are dealing with the most difficult mental health difficulties are usually also minority status or lower social class, other issues that affect their mental health. So, in this presentation, what I'll look at is I'll do an overview of mental health in the elementary school classroom. So, for example, in the past, we have the 1976 Individuals with Disabilities Act, which includes emotional and physical disabilities. And then I mentioned that 20% of kids have psychosocial problems, and that some statistics I found, I won't go through all of them, but like just suicide alone has increased 100% for ages 10 to 14 from 1980 to 1996. I don't have a more current standard, but generally the mental health, our mental health is getting worse in the society. And bullying and school violence, 77% of students in one study said that they were affected by bullying and school violence. And let's see what else I have here, just some other stats. That higher grad rates, test scores, behavior, and academics, students will be doing better overall if they have positive social and emotional competency. So if they're able to regulate their own emotions and get along with their peers, they'll be able to do better at school as well. So without going over more stats, because I could go on and on, there's a lot of schools that are teaching students about mental health in different ways. So for example, some schools are actually introducing a curriculum and lesson plans. I mean, I have one more minute. So they're introducing lesson plans. So part of my proposal would involve participants filling out like a mental health lesson plan that they could use in the classroom, and then that'll be followed up by, I brought a prop, an idea for teachers to use, which I call a toolbox, and I developed this through doing some integrative mental health therapy. And some people already do all of these things, but basically this is my toolbox. And it's if you're struggling a lot, and you could do this with students, they basically come up with things that would be comforting if they're having a really hard day, if there's something really hard going on at home. They go to their box and it's just like a comfort, it's got some things. So I thought I'd share some of mine. It's got things like mints. I mean, these are things people sometimes keep in their purse or in their bag. In some ways it's not anything new. But also just like photos of family and reminders of things that make me feel comfortable or strong. So that's something that in this workshop the teachers will do. And finally, so toolbox, developing lesson plan, and there'll be one more discussion where the teachers and participants look at mental health equity issues, and talk about policy, education settings, and individual experiences in the classroom with